Well, there's some pretty disturbing scenes out of Melbourne over the weekend as anti-lockdown protesters clashed with riot police in violent confrontations. 74 people were arrested and 176 were issued with fines. It comes as pressure grows on Premier Daniel Andrews to prevent what business leaders are calling an economic Armageddon.
It's not stuff we want to see, is it? Let's get today's take on this with Shelley Horton from 9 Honey and journalist at the Saturday paper, Osman Faruqi. Thank you both for joining us. Osman, there's such a sense of frustration and anger in mourning about this continued lockdown. Thank God the numbers are coming down, but there can be no excuse for this kind of violence and public disorder, can there?
Yeah, really confronting images over the weekend from the Queen Vic markets. You know, it's one of my local markets. I love going there, picking up fresh fruit, veggies, you know, cheese, all that sort of stuff from the delis. And the fact that it was flooded with both protesters and really heavily armed kind of riot police was just not the kind of, even though this year has been throwing up so many, you know, things you never expected. This is another thing I did not expect to see. As you can see, the horses running through the markets. And, you know, I don't have sympathies with these protesters. The lockdown is stressful and it's getting to all of us, but it's, you know, their campaign to publicly protest it under stage 4 restrictions is not something that I agree with or sympathize with. But I think there are questions to be asked about how heavy-handed the police presence has been, and if these protesters are really concerned about what they see as what they're describing as a police state and unnecessary interference. I kind of feel like you've got a few dozen protesters, you've got hundreds of armed police. It might just be feeding into the creating the kinds of images that they want out there to build that kind of argument. I feel like there's got to be a more strategic way to handle this.
That's it. It's feeding that argument. But it's also, I mean, from a psychological perspective, imagine being one of the innocent shoppers who was caught up in that day, doing one of the one small freedoms that you have, shopping at the fresh fruit and veg markets at Queen Vic. It's just so disturbing for everyone involved.
Yeah,
Business leaders are saying that Daniel Andrews, the roadmap out of lockdown is simply too slow. What needs to happen, Shelley? How do we get things moving faster?
I tell you what we don't do is we don't have stupid protests like that. Like, I understand how frustrated everyone is in Melbourne. We had to go through, you know, such a small bit in the rest of the country compared to what Victoria's going through. But you've got to remember that was 250 people. 5 million people did the right thing. So 5 million people stayed home. And I don't think that the police was actually heavy-handed, Oz. I think that those people could have had COVID and therefore they could be actually spreading a virus that kills people. So you have to treat them differently when we're in a pandemic. And I think I want that amount of police control because we have to stop the crazies and the loonies who don't believe in the virus from actually spreading it. So I'm going to have to disagree on that one and go, I'm very happy with the police going as hard as they need to. I want them to make sure that people are doing the right thing because you know what? If they don't, you're going to be in lockdown longer. And who is that going to help? Absolutely no one.
A lot of people would be agreeing with you there, Shell. Hey, a boss who wants her employees to wear their uniforms while working from home has kind of divided the internet, with some calling the uniform policy ridiculous. Shelley, working from home has become the new norm for some workers around the country. Should they have to wear work-appropriate clothing when they're working from home? Yes, no. I guess this is a different case.
This is a little bit of a different case because the people working from home are actually dealing with clients and customers. So I think you do need to be presentable. Do you have to wear your uniform? Probably not. I've got to say, when I'm doing all of my Zoom work calls, what I do is I call it the cavallet, and it's like a mullet, but it's basically a suit on top and activewear and Uggs at the bottom. The cavallet.
Oz, have you considered, or do you dress up for your Zoom meetings?
Well, he is now. Look at him now.
I mean, you guys don't want me to stand up right now.
Watch out, boxes.
I think it's the amount of resilience workers have shown in this crisis is extraordinary. The fact that we've so quickly pivoted to just being, you know, normalizing working from home is extraordinary. And I get it. If you're talking to clients or even colleagues, you should look presentable. You know, wear a nice shirt. You know, don't look terrible. But the idea of needing to wear a uniform, I think customers, clients, everyone can understand that these are wild, extraordinary times. And I don't really see anyone getting too mad that, you know, someone that they're speaking to from another company isn't wearing a shirt embroidered with the company logo. Let's cut everyone a bit of slack.
You got to give us a quick flash of your pajama pants.
Oh, come on. Sylvia, JJ.
Oh, all right, just say nothing. Fair enough, we'll move on. Shelley and Osmond, stay with us when we come back. The name to complain, from the Karens to the Kims, we reveal who is most likely to kick up a stink.
And why Kim Kardashian is copping some backlash over her new maternity collection. That is coming up next.
Kim Kardashian's new Skims maternity range hasn't even hit the shelves yet, but it's already causing controversy. Many people accused Kim of sending the wrong message to pregnant women about their changing bodies, pressuring them to stay thin.
Pressuring them, literally, you could say. Shelley Horton and Osmond Faruqi are with us to discuss. Shelley, I don't know too much about this stuff. What do you make of it?
Hey, mate, I don't know too much about it either. I've never been pregnant. But let me tell you, the thing that my pregnant friends love is that they don't have to struggle into shapewear when they're pregnant. This is their chance to let their body do the incredible thing of making a baby. It's not about fitting to society standards of being thin or anything like that. But I have got one girlfriend who actually did wear shapewear during her pregnancy, and that was because she had some pelvis problems, and she said it wasn't to look thin, it was just to hold everything in and make it feel more secure. So I think there's some really mixed messaging here, and surprise, surprise, I don't agree with Kim Kardashian.
It is, pregnancy is the one time in your life when you get to let it all hang out. So this is I wouldn't have thought so, Dickie. Oh, she says, though, that it offers the best in comfort and support for your changing body during and after pregnancy.
Well, yeah, like Dickie, it's not a topic I have a lot of first-hand experience with. But I think the idea, pregnant women, all women deal with so much social pressure in terms of how they should look, and the idea that during that period that there's an extra expectation now that you have to look a certain way, or at least that expectation is being manufactured by someone like Kim Kardashian, who stands to benefit and profit by selling products to ease it. It sort of feels like, she's creating a problem and then solving it. And the way to solve it is to give her a lot of money. And that's not something that sits right with me. I think, like you said, Sylvia, let people, if there's one time where we're allowed to allow women to not feel that burden of societal expectation, it's when they're pregnant.
Also, pregnancy is uncomfortable enough. We don't need more things pulling us in and sucking us up. No thanks.
Imagine trying to get out of the Spanx to go to the toilet and back into them.
Yeah, it's all too... No.
Anyway.
Thanks, Kim. Next. So the names of people most likely to complain online have been revealed. Karens everywhere can breathe a sigh of relief. Because guess who? Kim is topping the list of females who love to whinge, followed by Susan, Sue and Sarah. For men, Paul's and apparently the males likely to complain, followed by David and John. No sign of Osmond on the list, Oz.
No, Osmond's on the list. Love to see it. Amazing. So Kim Kardashian to Kim, I wonder if she's, making these complaints. But one of the things about the story that threw me was that the researchers for this were searching on the most complained landmarks, and they were looking at the people who complained about the Eiffel Tower and the Sydney Opera House. What are you complaining about? What is Kim?
What's to complain
What are Kim
about?
and Karens and Susan so mad about when they get to the Opera House or the Eiffel Tower? What do they expect? They're good buildings. What are you mad about?
It's too tall.
It's blocking my view. Shelley, do you agree with the names?
Oh, I'm so glad that DC's off sick today, because I was pretty excited to see David was number 2 on the list. Look, I just think, you know what? This just shows that there's too many people complaining online. I think that everyone needs to understand, yes, they've got a voice, but do you need to use it by putting a bad review every second day? I don't think so. So maybe it's time for us to flip this and let's look at people who compliment online. I don't know how many we'd find, but let's think about it that way.
Nothing but positive reviews for you two today. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
See ya.
Take care. Coming up on Today Extra, Andrew Lloyd Webber.